Silence night, holy night.
Hello, welcome to our Advent podcast. My name is Femi Onoga. I'm joined by
Tom Femi.
and this is our last episode. but it's been great. It's been great. And yeah, really feel like I hope you guys have got something for yourselves. I'm just gonna land the plane now. I'm gonna talk to Tom about joy and how do we witness via joy.
Yeah, very good. Oh, you're asking me?
Yeah, jump in.
Well,
that wasn't great, but sorry. Yeah.
You asked me a question in the last episode, which I was going to answer, but you rightly cut me off, about social. So you actually were talking about social media, and I think one of the complexities of social media is I think that it can pull us into a place where we feel the need to perform. Whenever you perform, you're always looking to see whether you're getting the applause, and whereas I think the challenge is to abide in the one for whom affection is the only thing that's going to satisfy.
Yeah. So that abiding and that joy, that I'm guessing when you abide, you experience joy, right?
Yes, in some ways you do. It's also can be quite painful when you abide, because if you think of, there's often, if you think of John 15, there's pruning involved, isn't there? There's I've cut my grapevines, and the reason I've cut my grapevine is so that it kind of goes back into the stock. So it's not feeding leaves or the goodness, whatever it's called. It goes back into the stock, and I think there is. But of course, what happens is when you do abide, which means an act of surrender, you're giving up stuff. You actually realise the things that have become very noisy, very unhelpful. Yeah. You realise where you've picked up stuff you don't want to pick up. So it is joyful in the end. It doesn't always feel like that at the start.
Wow. So how does that joy? Because you're saying it's not easy, right? But how can we allow it to fuel our witness to the world? How can we allow that joy, that presence, that feeling of no matter the circumstances, God is here with me, and that surrender fuel our witness?
No, I mean, I think that. I think this is a good conversation to have, isn't it? Because I think that joy breaks the power of fear, greed, and a sense of self-protection, and so it's a freeing thing. Because what we're saying is it is only in Jesus do we find freedom, and that can be quite complicated to work out depending on what's happening in your life. But I think when we've encountered Jesus and He is the pearl of great price and He's everything, you sell your field just to get Him. He's the thing that makes it all sense. There is a great freedom in that, and I think that's hugely attractive to people who are looking for stuff. Do you know what I mean? If they meet somebody, think, "Wow, this person's had all of this crazy stuff in their life, but they're not bitter, twisted, broken, messed up, but they've got a song in their heart, and they've got a different story that." They're living out a different narrative. People want to know why. Do you know what I mean? Yeah,
of course. So how do you think the world would look then if we do really live out that joy? You kind of touched on it. You want to flesh out a bit more, you think?
I think, did you use the word witness?
Yes.
So I think when we use the word witness, I think for a lot of people, they think of evangelism or mission, and they think of people like me and you. Although you're cooler, so they probably think, Femi said it, so it must be right. That I think stuff like evangelism becomes an issue for us because it can step into performance. Like, am I any good at it? Am I leading people to Jesus or not? And I've been in church cultures and probably have propagated those where it becomes a massive pressure, so people get stressed about it. Yeah. I think there's a deeper question. If our faith is based on duty without delight, then it becomes very dry and performance related. And people want good news. Yeah. And people know when, we've all been met sales, you meet those salespeople say, will you give to this charity? You think, you're not doing this because you're passionate about charity, you're doing it because you're getting your minimum, whatever it is. We've all met people like that. Yeah. And so I think people are drawn to life. Life breeds life, doesn't it? And so I think that if our witness is a bit joyless because we do it out of a sense of duty, I think it misrepresents the love and the grace and the passion of Jesus.
Yeah, I feel like Christians sometimes just take themselves too seriously, man.
Yes, there can be an intensity.
Yeah,
100%.
And you know, I think when you see Jesus, like he had fun, like he had fun with his friends. Like he's walking around with his friends. He's doing stuff. He's changing the world. He's doing it with his mates.
Well, mate, I got a mate used to be an RE teacher.
Yeah.
And he became a pastor of a church in Liverpool. And before he was the pastor, he would do these RE lessons. And he used to show these pictures of Jesus, you know, your classic, you know, Holman Hunt and whatever, Salvador Dali, that slightly bizarre one on upside down cross. Anyway, but there was one he was showing, I forget the name of the guy, he's a Canadian artist. And it's a sketch. But it's amazing sketch. Jesus has got his headphone out and he's roaring with laughter. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's the one that he would say that in any of his lessons, that's the one that would get most traction with people. That's the one they want to talk about because they'd be like, we don't expect this guy. A laughing, joyful Jesus. And I think one of the things I love about The Chosen, actually, is he's just joyful.
Yeah.
He's just
I watched an episode where he's praying with his friends and they're making fun of him because he's bad at the game. Yeah. And they're like, was Jesus actually good at everything?
I think it brings that sense of, I went to Israel once and got really badly sunburned. I just remember thinking, I wonder if Jesus was ever sunburned. And then I felt really guilty about it. Do you know?
Why do you feel guilty?
Well, I don't know, because I'd not fully got grasp of the incarnation in some sense. That I was like, well, I can't think like that. And then you actually think, well, you know, he's both fully God and fully man.
Yeah.
And so he would have been, I just think he would have been the most amazing person to spend time with.
Well, he had hundreds and thousands of
people
following
liked him. You know,
Yeah.
people liked him. You know, bring your kids here. You got to, and I think there's an aspect of him. You know, I used to know a vicar years ago, and he used to say, he was a very, very posh guy. He said, I rather think the Lord has a smile on his face. And I used to think, and I love that because I think, well, he knew God. He shone Jesus, this guy. And I think there is something around, like, how am I joyful? I mean, I'm jovial, but and I think that it comes from that deep security that God has me and God has you, and
Amen.
And therefore we can relax a bit. And I think the same guy was quite posh. He used to say, intensity is not a fruit of the Spirit.
Amen.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but joy is though.
But joy is, mate, 100%, 100%. Yeah. And I think as we've talked about this, I'm kind of been thinking about joy for this kind of series throughout, just thinking about Advent, I've realised that if I'm brutally honest, sometimes I've particularly been experiencing, think, oh, am I joyful or not? But I've realised that joy transcends that in the sense that it is this being beheld by God and realising that He is the only one that will truly satisfy us.
Amen. Amen. That's incredible. I think we ended there.
And on that bombshell, Femi, knowing me, Tom Femi, knowing you, Femi Onuga.
Yes.
Aha.
Aha. Let's end it there. Aha. Thank you, sir. That was a joy. That was a joy to do.
That was a joy, mate. What a joy. I need the toilet now, Femi. I'm not going to lie.
See you later.